In Lesson 1.4, we're learning about how to round numbers. Our essential question is, how can you round numbers? Round this number to the nearest thousand. When we're rounding numbers, we're always going to go to the number that they want us to be rounding to. For example, in this number, round this number to the nearest thousand. So my directions are to find the thousand and round my number to the closest thousand. For example, in this number, I have 1,358. If I were to look at the place value of each of these numbers, I have my ones, my tens, my hundreds, and my thousands. My directions tell me to round to the thousands. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a line under my thousands place. You're always then going to look next door to see how big the next number is. So here's my door. Now, I like to tell my students, let's think about this. There is one kid playing outside, and there's a 3-year-old who is my neighbor, and I want him to come outside. Do you think his mom would let him come outside to play? I don't think he would. I think that his mom or dad or whoever would say, he's just too little to come outside and play today. So if he's too little, then he's going to run upstairs to cry. So that means there's still only going to be one kid outside, and all of the other kids have gone upstairs to comfort the number 3. So we're going to change all of these to zeros. All right, so we said 3 doesn't come outside, so my 1 is going to round to 1,000. So I have 1,358. It's actually closer to 1,000. In this example, we're going to round to the nearest hundred. So again, we said we're always going to look for the number or the place value that they ask us to round to. So here we're rounding to the hundreds. So I'm going to go for my ones, my tens, my hundreds. So I'm going to put a line under it. So in this case, I have a 7 in that place. So I have 7 people are outside playing, and I'm going to draw a box around my next door neighbor. And I'm going to knock on the door. Hey, Mr. 5, can you come out and play? Well, guess what, boys and girls? 5-year-old kids are usually allowed to go play in the front yard with a fence around it. So I'm going to say, sure, he can go out and play. So if he goes out to join this number 7, now there's going to be 8 people outside. So I'm going to write my 8, and then there's nobody going to be in the door, and everybody else is following him out. So we have 800. Now remember, that's just a way for us to remember how to write the zeros. You're always going to have the same amount of zeros as you have digits in your original number. All right, let's try another one. Round this number to the nearest thousand. So again, we're going to the thousands place, and I'm going to draw my line under it. So I have it 2 in that spot. So I have 2 people outside playing. Then I'm going to draw my box around the 7. It's always important to draw a line under the digit for where you're rounding, and then to always draw your box around the one you're looking at. If it's 5 or bigger, you're always going to go up. If it's smaller than 5, you're always going to stay the same. So here I'm going to pretend like I have 2 people outside playing, and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. 7, can you come out and play? And he says, yay! I get to go out and play. So if he goes and joins the 2 people outside, now there are 3 people outside. That means there's nobody left inside. So I'm going to put zeros for all the rest of my digits. So my 7 was larger than a 5, so it came outside. So if I was looking at this number on a number line, I know that 27 hundreds would be closer to 30 hundreds, or 2,700 would be closer to 3,000. Round this number to the nearest 10,000s. Okay, this one's a little bigger, so we're going to have to look at this and decide where is my 10,000. So I'm going to go look. I have my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000. So I have a 0 here, so I'm going to put my line there. So in this case, I'm going to say, well, I have 10 people outside playing. So I know that I put my box around the number beside my line. So I'm going to have a 7 in my door, and then I'm going to knock again. Hey, Mr. 7, can you come out and play? And he says, yes, I get to go out and play. So if there's 10 people out there now and the 7 joins him, there's going to be 11 people. So I'm going to change that to 11. Again, there's nobody in the doorway. He went outside and everyone else followed him. Okay, in this example, it says round the number to the nearest 10. So again, I'm going to find my 10. So I have 1, 10, 100, thousands. Well, put my line under my 10, and we're going to draw a box around the what? The 9. So there's my door. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Come on, boys and girls, join me. We're going to knock. Hey, Mr. 9, can you come out and play? And he says, yes, I can come out and play. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because we have a 9 here. So if I have 459 people outside playing and I add one more person, that means I'm going to now have 460 people. And if we look at this number, we have 59. So really, I'm going to bump this one to a 0 and add my 10 place to the 10s, which is going to make this a 6. So I'm going to have 460 people out there now if I was just looking at these first 3 digits. And then there's no one in the door. So my new number is 4,600. All right, here's one more. Round this number to the nearest hundreds. Notice every single time we're doing the same thing. We're finding our place value, and then we're looking next door. So in this case, I'm going to find my hundreds. So I have my 1s, my 10s, my hundreds. So I draw my line. Now I'm going to draw my box around the 3. All right, so again, I'm going to knock, and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. 3, can you come out and play? And he's going to say, I'm too little. So he runs upstairs to pout. And this 8 right here, he's going to go up there and comfort him. So that means that these guys here, they are all going to stay outside alone and they didn't get another friend. So they're going to say exactly the same. They're not going to change. Oops. They're not going to change. So my number is still going to stay 538,500 because these two went upstairs to cry. Nothing has changed here. It's staying the same.